Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Hello, yes, I'm back and I'm COVID free. If you're new, I'm Katie and welcome to another bookish adventure. So today I'm going to be doing books that I've read recently, as I haven't really had a chance to do a wrap up yet, so I just thought I'll just do it all in one go. And yeah, life has been a little bit chaotic and I've been short on time and I've been doing stuff, and then it was my birthday and then I got ill and I don't really remember what happened in January. I actually have quite a lot of books that I want to bring to you guys, so yeah, I just need to like get straight to it and like not get too waffly. I know I said in my last video that my mouth looks like I've had like fillers, and I'm looking at my mouth again in the viewfinder and I look like I've had fillers and I really haven't. I don't know what's going on, but apparently my bottom lip has grown. I don't know, it's really strange and I'm trying to work out if my face looks normal or not. I think it looks normal. I can't tell and it's like kind of freaking me out. The first book I finished was Talon by Julie Kagawa. I have been thinking about reading this series for a very long time. I read her Blood of Eden trilogy, the vampire one, and it just, oh my god, I love it. Then discovered that she did the Iron Fae series, which is again a book that has been on my TBR for a while, and that one is crazy hyped. She's also got a newer series that has dropped, which I really want to read, and I just kind of thought, you know what, I haven't read any books dragon based. I wanted like read something different, which is why it went onto my TBR. So this is a book where you have a world where dragons exist and they're able to blend into society, so they are just basically perfect polished versions of people. And then you have St. George, and they are an order who hunt dragons. It's very interesting. I really like the world that she created, but I did only give it, I think it was like 3 stars or 3.5. I did this on audiobook. The girl who voiced her was a tad annoying, but she was fine. I think it actually was more the character Ember herself, which is annoying. I just found her extremely naive and very willing to just be like, I don't want to be part of Talon anymore. So when they get to a certain age, I think it's 16, they go through all this teaching, all this everything, and basically they get a summer to prove that they are loyal to Talon. You know, they can assimilate with humans and they can be part of that world. And yeah, and so her and her twin brother, which is a very rare thing, are sent to this town to basically have this summer, and this is what she's been dying for. You know, their base was in the desert, they see nothing, and you know, she's just so excited, but obviously there are all these rules, like you can't go flying at night and all this stuff, and you know, obviously don't tell people. And it's just, I think it's her willingness to just kind of, it almost seems like a stubborn bratty, like I don't like being told what to do. She just seems so willing to just throw caution to the wind, and seems to kind of forget the bigger picture of her rule breaking, her doing whatever, her questioning her loyalty to Talon will also reflect on her brother. And it's like she doesn't really ever take into account the fact that it could impact her brother's life, because if you fail or if you break rules, you get taken back for re-assimilation. And so she meets a rogue dragon, and yeah, she starts to challenge everything she believes. She also meets a boy who happens to be a member of St. George, who is there trying to find some dragons that are there. So it is split from both of their points of view, so you get to see both of it. So him and his partner trying to figure out who are the dragons, him trying to infiltrate her friendship group, and it's really interesting just seeing her explore the human world and explore human life. But that side of her naivety, just, it was quite annoying basically. However, the world setup I really like. I like this idea. I like the fact that there's clearly going to be more to Talon and more to St. George than we realised. Probably at some point, you know, lines have been blurred, truths have been kind of buried, and people have taken both of these fractions into a direction that they wanted to go in. After finishing that, I then decided on a whim to do the Raven Boys. I kind of hadn't really fully decided my TBR yet for the year. I knew majoritively what books, but I don't know what happened. January just snuck up on me and I kind of panicked and just picked books. And Raven Boys was one that, yeah, it's been on there for a really long time, and I see a lot of love for the author and for the series. And I kind of thought, you know what, yeah. So that was another one I did in audiobooks, and oh, the man's voice was lush. He did that justice. It was beautiful. If you're not familiar with it, it's about a girl, Blue, who comes from a family of like mystics, and their powers are real. They are able to see things, and there was an event once a year where they go to this graveyard, and her mother and also her mum's sister is able to see all the people who are going to die that year, and they can tell people if they want to know basically. Blue doesn't have a gift, but she seems to be able to amplify other people's powers, so she will always go with her mum, but she never sees anything. And then this time she does see a person, and she basically decides that she kind of wants to find this person, and he's a young teenage boy named Gansey. This is also told from multiple point of views. Again, something I really love. I love me a multiple point of view. So you see all the different threads kind of coming together, what she sort of knows, what they know. At first, she doesn't realise that he is the boy she's searching for. She is also aware though that the person that she gives her first kiss to, who gets her true love's kiss, will die. So she's obviously very wary of, you know, keeping distance between people. So Gansey and his friends have this obsession to hunt for supposedly a king who was buried here in America, who ended up traveling overseas, and there's this whole thing that if you wake him up he has to grant you something. So it's interesting because Gansey and his friends come from a world of privilege and this very fancy school, except for one of them, he got a scholarship to go to the school and he obviously feels the need to prove himself. And then there's Blue, who is just completely separate from that world, hates that world, and seeing them come together, seeing how actually each of these boys are quite broken and they're not this perfect raven boy that she kind of thought. Loads of twists and turns. So I really loved, well, one major one which I didn't see coming and I was very happy about. I do like a lot about this book. It really appeals to me. I so get, because like when I went into it I really couldn't remember why I'd put it on my TBR, but I just like the idea of it. I like the supernatural element. It's not something I read a lot, but I definitely watch more, like that real high supernatural, and I'm excited for where it's gonna go. I think I gave that, I rated that quite high, I think. Yeah, 4 stars. I rated it quite highly. So my actual first physical book that I read, and again panic picked, was Spinning Silver. So I have already read Uprooted by Naomi Novik and didn't really get on with it. Didn't really kind of get the hype for it, to be honest, which is a shame because I love the premise of it. This one for sure I loved. I really enjoyed it a lot more. I still don't think it's amazing, but I'm definitely sold more in this. And obviously I've also got her book The Graduate, which I'm going to read because it's quite different. But I would give you something, the woman knows how to tell a story. This one was infinitely better and far superior. This one is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling vibe, and it is about a moneylender's daughter who basically, he lends out money but is really shit at getting it back, and they live in poverty because of this, and he will get brushed off with really silly answers for why. And so eventually she's like, you know what, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna go get me this money. And so she earns herself a bit of a reputation because she's quite like, I ain't taking no for an answer, and she really manages to sort of in a short time to accumulate back this wealth and to put her family in a really good position. She is willing to let people trade, like if they have like a profession, she's willing to, you know, trade like garments for it, and she can make other money. And yeah, it's this, she wants to kind of make her parents proud, but they're not really loving it. However, her mum's dad like loves it. So we get her point of view. We also get another girl's point of view, Wanda, who comes in and ends up working off her father's debt. And I love her because she's very quiet, she doesn't say very much, but she's constantly learning and she constantly wants to make herself helpful. She has like her ulterior motives to staying close with that family, and it is their lives that come together, plus a third whose father is scheming to get her married to a prince, and the prince is creepy as hell. We don't like him. Obviously there is a magical supernatural element to this, and this is the Stark. So there is like this frost road that kind of appears, and it's a little bit confusing at first because this is something I think I just found about her writing, is that I found like I didn't know what was going on, and I felt that a lot in Uprooted and found myself bored. Sometimes that happened in this, that I just couldn't understand what was being said, but I got the main plot. And because of her boasting, basically the Stark King turns up and is like, I want you to turn the silver into gold for me. So she does it in a typical normal way, that they melt it down to create something to sell to make gold. And I really like that play on in the traditional world of doing it. However, she does the task 3 times and becomes his queen, and in his realm she can genuinely do it and has to change silver into gold. She can actually change the coin. And I also loved the fact of, again, it was a you will do it 3 times for me, and her cunning is very good. The girls in this book, they are all smart, they are all strong, they are fighting for their lives and kind of the bigger picture as well. And yeah, they are very smart and are not willing to sort of be pushed. I'm being called. Hello? no, we don't like that. We're gonna hang up on that. Yeah, they are very strong women, and I really love that about this, because yeah, they're not going to be sort of pushed down. You know, they want to save their families, they want to save their kingdoms. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one a lot more than I did her first book, so I'm kind of got high hopes that I will like, oh, drop my phone, will like The Graduate more. I just think possibly that world could be suited more. I did give this one 3.5. I'm pretty sure Uprooted I probably gave like 2.5 or 3 or something. I think it got knocked down for that fact of I just felt like I couldn't understand what was going on sometimes. Next up we had A Cruel Beauty, and this is a book, again, for a very long time. I think because I wasn't sure if there was more coming, more books based within the same universe, because there is the sequel, which is I think Red Riding Hood, but it's based in the same world, but you can read them separately. So this is a Beauty and the Beast inspired one. So they live in a kingdom where they have to sacrifice girls, yay, and they live trapped under a kind of dome type thing where yeah, they are subject to the whim of this beast king. For her and her father and the kind of like the Masons, is the kind of way I can describe it, have basically been plotting his downfall, and that when she marries him, you know, this is what she's going to do. She's going to go in there, and her aim is basically you won't come out of this alive, but you will save everyone. So she's going in there knowing that she's a lamb to the slaughter, and he is kind of similar to Rumpelstiltskin. He will make bargains with people, but it will always backfire. So in her father's case, he made a deal with him for his wife to be able to get pregnant, but she dies in childbirth eventually. It's that sort of thing. Once she is within the house, she's obviously trying to accomplish her mission, and his shadow can separate itself from him, and at night it takes on a human form. It is very fun. I loved the character. I will say she's very strong-willed, and I felt her bitterness, her coldness was like the right level, because she's going into this knowing she's going to be like, she's going to die eventually. And so, you know, you have her sister who kind of comes across almost, oh, it'll be fine, you know, there's like this whole legend that, you know, basically a virgin can kill him with a virgin knife sort of thing, and she's like, you know, it'll be fine, you'll come back alive. And she's like, yeah, you can see there's real bitterness and resentment, and she tries to push it down, and she tries to be a good person. So I actually like the bits when she kind of spits out that venom, because she's very funny and I like her snarkiness. I just felt it didn't feel forced, it didn't feel not right, it just felt right for the character. And I love the way she challenged him, I love the way she was with him, I loved their back and forth. It was really good. Also wasn't expecting the Greek aspects, so there were lots of Greek gods mentioned, which why would you expect that? The woman who narrated it was so posh, like really how like stereotypical how Americans think English people talk, really posh there. I loved her voice, she did it very well. The way she really drew out sentences as well and made them really long, and just she was perfect. But yeah, I gave that one 3.5 because it was pretty good. I just felt the end was a little bit not flat, but I don't know what I wanted. Next up, as you all know, I have finally tackled A Court of Thorns and Roses. I won't go into too much detail because I have made a reading vlog on it, so you can catch that. But I was drawn to this because it was a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and oh my god, it was so good. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 3.75 because I just couldn't give it that 4th star, because if I'm honest, I only really loved 2 characters, and that was Lucian and Rhys, and that was about it. The others, well, the other main 2 I guess, were fine. Freya, I think the setup with her and her family made me dislike her, because she just shouldn't have let her family get away with her basically being the scullery maid, hunting, preparing, feeding them, protecting them. It just felt really like you shouldn't have let that shit slide. So yeah, I found it difficult to like Feyre to begin with, especially when Tam would try and protect her and be like, we need to make you safe, and she'd be like, no, it's fine, let me help, let me fight. And it's like, you're gonna get snapped like a toothpick, like just listen to the man. And I also couldn't get past the fact that he really took care of her family. Even once I knew everything fully, it just still didn't make sense to me. I think probably because in my mind her family did not seem deserving of it, but whatever. Where I thought this book would go, I thought would be spread across and would be the main arc for at least the first 3 books, but no. So now I'm really excited to see how much further it goes. But yeah, I love this. It was one of these things, I knew I would like this series. It was just how well I would get on with the first book, and at what point I would really hit that, oh my god, I love this series. And then the final book I have to talk to you about is Atlantia, and this is a standalone, which is one of the reasons why I put it on there. And it was like a mermaid book, but not a mermaid book, but kind of a mermaid book. So we live in a world where we live underwater now. However, there are still some people who live above. The world is polluted, and it is basically for the survival of the many. And you get to a certain point on your birthday and you can decide whether or not you want to stay below or you can sacrifice your life to the above. Our main character has always known that she wants to be above, and her sister has unfortunately reluctantly been like, fine, yeah, I get it. And then their mum dies, and this has already happened. Literally the start of the book starts when they're gonna have their ceremony, and basically her sister's like, you know, you can't leave me now, you know, I don't have anyone. And being the older sister, she has to go first, and she's like, yep, I'm gonna stay, even though it's like crushing with dreams. And then her sister is like, I'm going above. And the book revolves around her trying to find out why the hell her sister did this to her, why she suddenly wanted to go above. It didn't make any sense, because literally you say you're going above and you're taken away, like that's it. And you're not allowed to go up and down, like that's it. You stay below, you stay above, like that is it. So it is her trying to figure out her sister's life and why she's done this. She is also trying to figure out kind of exactly what happened to her mum and how she died, because no one really knows. Her aunt is a siren, so we do have this slight mermaid aspect into it. It was really enjoyable. I was forever wondering if she would ever find out the truth, if she would ever get to make it to the surface. Anytime a truth got revealed, there was always a kind of extra but, like there was always just something else there. I think I gave this 3 stars, I think, because it was pretty good. It was one of these things that would have made a good duology, actually. I do wonder if maybe it would have gone that way and been further if it had always been planned as a standalone. Yeah, 3 stars, which yeah, it was pretty good. It wasn't anything massively special, and the ending didn't wow me, but I loved the worlding setup. I loved this idea of her trying to figure out her sister's, like everything. She was trying to put together a puzzle of all these different things. So actually what's going on with Atlantia, what was going on with her sister, what's going on with her aunt, can she trust her, with her mum, what are they hiding from her, so much. I need me a lie down. So that is it for February. I've had a really good month. I mean, I cannot believe actually how much I've managed to read and listen to. I'm very happy with myself, especially once I got COVID, because I was like flat out. So the start of my March has not been very good. As always, comment below and let me know what have you been reading in the last couple of months, what have been your favourite books, what have been your low points. If you enjoyed this video and you want to smash that like button, do that, and if you want to subscribe, do that too, and never miss a video. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one.